and one of our editors, Shane Reed, who, fun fact, he was my editor on Taylor's music video that I directed, and I was obsessed with him. And I was like, this guy is amazing, and he never edited a movie before. Just finished Deadpool and Wolverine, and he came on and helped us with this one. And he has incredible taste in music. Taylor, I mean, she's such an incredible writer. She writes from such personal experiences and vulnerability. So to have these two women who are authoring their story, and also women who are really like, Colleen started as being self-published. What Taylor's done with her life and career, I think that and my hair care company, Blake Brown, my goodness gracious. It's been crazy. It's been a crazy week. I haven't slept in like a lot.
Hey friends, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It is Thursday, February 6th, 2025. Blake Lively's week is getting even worse. And I say this in only that she only had like a couple friends. And one of her friends happens to be like one of the most powerful, influential people in Hollywood currently, who just came off the biggest grossing concert of the Eras tour. A friend that has music has been basically on our radios nonstop for over a decade. Taylor Swift, quite possibly the biggest female pop star to date. She has won so many Grammys. She has sold so many records. She has had so many number one hits, and she has been on a high for the last several years. She's also been friends with Blake Lively for a long time, like more than a decade. So much so that they used to be their little pack were like the mean girls in Hollywood. And they sort of walked around and they were all really skinny and blonde. And there was just this whole vibe about them that felt really snotty. But Taylor has tried to stay out of that mess and has tried to keep a very clean image. And so her connections to Blake always confused me because Blake always seemed really mean and nasty to me. But I don't know. Either way, when I saw Taylor's name brought up in text messages, I knew it was only going to be a matter of time before Taylor dropped Blake, because Taylor Swift is too big to get involved in drama like this. And she's definitely not going to want to be used by anyone. And Hollywood is so fickle that if you're a friend of somebody and they use you or they name drop you, or if they bring you into their legal battles, they're going to dump you. Because at the end of the day, it's Hollywood. It is the entertainment industry, and nobody is actually really friends. You're only friends until you can't get what you need from that person anymore. So currently, there's now a story. It's been circulating widely for the last several hours, but the rumors about them having a rift because of Blake bringing Taylor into this drama, well, now the relationship has apparently imploded. So let's help you understand why. Text messages that Mr. Baldoni dropped in his lawsuit show Blake using and leveraging her relationship with Taylor as a means to bully him to get what she wants, and a means to show him how much power she has and how much influence she has. And she was using Taylor and Taylor's music as leverage to bully, and also using Taylor to bully him regarding changing scenes. So this is sort of the famous text that she sent. Okay, both Ryan and Taylor have established themselves as absolute titans as writers and storytellers outside of their primary gig, just singing or just acting or just directing. I'm so lucky to have them as creative barometers, but also to have them as the people who prop me up and make sure I'm seen for all I can and do offer, because they know firsthand all I contribute. They do know I'm not always as good at making sure I'm seen and utilized for fear of threatening egos or fear of affecting the ease of the process. They don't give a shit about that. And because of that, everyone listens to them with immense respect and enthusiasm. So I guess I have to stop worrying about people liking me. If you ever get around to watching Game of Thrones, you'll appreciate that I'm Khaleesi, And like her, I happen to have a few dragons, for better or for worse, but usually for better, because my dragons also protect those I fight for. So really, we all benefit from those gorgeous monsters of mine. You will too, I can promise. So the message is clear to me when I read this. It's that, Justin, you need to let me do what I'm going to do and have the influence I want and say yes to me, or else I'm going to use my power and my very powerful friends to ruin you. And we will ruin you in any way that we can. And just know that because I have these powerful friends, I, one, can make things really great in your life. So her, she's leveraging her husband and Taylor, but then she's also saying, I can also use them as a weapon. So if you're nice to me, I'll give you these people. And if you're not nice to me, I will turn them on you. It's actually super manipulative. It's gross. If I were a friend of Blake's and they were speaking about me that way, I would be like, Blake, I don't want to be your dragon. And Taylor is so obsessed with her image. She's always been super clean cut in terms of like making sure she seems commercial. And when you start talking about her being used as a bully and to bully people, I don't see Taylor sticking around for that. Well, apparently she's not gonna, because it sounds like their relationship has blown up. I think it became too hot in the oven when TMZ decided to ask Brian Friedman, who is the attorney for Justin Baldoni, if he would depose Taylor Swift. And Brian was kind of cagey in his interview. He didn't really say a whole lot. He just said he might, but he didn't know if they would. And Harvey from TMZ said, well, that would be like your golden ticket. They could put her on the stand, have her corroborate or not corroborate what happened. And he also suggested it could be used as leverage, because what person that loves their friend would want to put their friend through a position where they would have to be deposed in a lawsuit? I don't know if any of you have ever gone through a deposition. I have sat through 3 or 4 of my own, and they're brutal. You sit in a room in a camera, and they are allowed to ask you whatever you want. There's not a judge there. So the other party's attorney can basically abuse you and ask you any questions they want, and you have to answer under oath. It's horrible. And only after the deposition do you go to the judge and find out if any of the testimony you gave can be sustained or overruled. It's humiliating. And so if you're Taylor, to think that you might be put in a position to be deposed and be asked humiliating questions like that, I would think that would, when the news started circulating that she might be deposed, something might happen today. Well, that's what happened. So TMZ said they spoke to someone, and I would believe this since they literally just talked to Baldoni's attorney yesterday. But the new headline is, Taylor Swift, bad blood with Blake Lively. I'm not your dragon. She feels used by Blake in the war with Justin, and she resents Blake calling her one of her dragons and leveraging her name. The reason why Taylor's involved is because in Justin's lawsuit, he says that he was called over to Blake and Brian Reynolds' penthouse. And at this penthouse meeting, they were trying to get him to agree to rewrite a scene and applying a lot of pressure to him, using their power to get him to do what they wanted him to do. And then while this meeting was going on, then Taylor Swift walked in, and to Justin, the message felt very clear that she was using Ryan and Taylor to get what she wanted. And he didn't receive that very well. And Taylor now is saying that she was manipulated into being brought into the situation. And she was told to come over to the penthouse at a certain time. And she thinks that Blake told her to come at this time, knowing that Justin would still be there and that she would be used as a power tool for Blake to show who her friends are. Here is what Taylor says, or a source connected to Taylor told TMZ. Taylor came to Blake's apartment at the time Blake told her to, not knowing anyone else would be there. In other words, Taylor had no idea there was a meeting going on with Justin. The source went on to say that Justin was about to leave after the 2-hour meeting as Taylor walked in. She introduced him for the first time and only time And they were told that Taylor said to Justin was how all Taylor said was how excited she was to see the movie because he was her friend's boss. And then they say that Taylor believes Blake timed the meeting just so Justin and Taylor would be in the same space for the same time. And it baffled Taylor that Blake then later characterized her as a dragon. And it says it's weird to say that about a friend. And the way that the source close to Taylor put it was that it would be very hard for their relationship to recover from this, which is wild because she is the godmother. Taylor is the godmother of one of Ryan and Blake's children. And there's competing narratives because every time a story drops that Taylor is pissed about this and frustrated and doesn't want to be involved, someone connected to Blake will suddenly come back out and say, no, that's not true. Because as soon as TMZ puts that out, they then get an update. Okay. And it says, one source close to Blake has a different take, telling TMZ Blake believes the relationship is not strained, with the two still talking regularly. Another source close to the situation says Taylor was pissed about the extent to which she was involved, and specifically, she was angry about the dragon's remark, but Blake has since apologized. They had a good cry and hugged it out. So either you believe the source that's connected to Taylor, that she's pissed, this relationship implodes, or you believe the manipulator, Blake, and her source saying, everything's fine, I apologized, we're good. I've noticed that every time this story has leaked, and it's been leaking probably for a week because every outlet has had some sort of story like this related to Taylor Swift for at least a week. Radar Online has covered it. News Nation has had a story about it. It's been on Page Six. It's been on Daily Mail. And it's like every time someone puts out an article and says that Taylor and Blake's relationship is strained, someone connected to Blake goes, no, it's not. That's a lie. Well, given that we know that Blake likes to control narratives and she's pretty manipulative herself, that really feels like the PR game that Leslie Sloan was playing when it came to Justin Baldoni. If you remember, TMZ contacted her and outlets were contacting her saying this is what we're getting from the here is the information we're getting from the production, that Blake was difficult, there was challenges with the creative control, she took over the film, that everyone else was fine, but that Blake basically turned everyone against him. And Leslie Sloan was like, no, 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 he's a predator. So it almost makes me feel like Leslie Sloan is then calling up TMZ being like, no, 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 everything is fine. Because on Radar Online, the headline is Taylor Swift's furious response to being dragged into Blake Lively's sexual harassment melodrama revealed. She's evaluating their entire friendship. And all of these outlets are kind of linked indirectly. So it says Taylor Swift is burning with such fury over being dragged into Blake Lively's lawsuit with Justin Baldoni, she may call time on their friendship. She'll take time away before this weekend's Super Bowl, where she'll cheer on her boyfriend who's in the game and urge her friend to settle the case. She has invited them to the game and will be forced to reevaluate their friendship if she's pulled further into the legal mire, says the source. Now, TMZ thinks that Blake and Ryan will not be at the Super Bowl based on what they heard today, but I don't know. Taylor is having some serious second thoughts about her friendship with Blake right now. The whole Justin drama is totally out of control, and it seems like Blake has, well, kind of thrown Taylor under the bus. Taylor's got a solid squad around her, and they're all noticing how this fight is really hurting the public's perception of both Blake and her husband, Ryan Reynolds. She's America's sweetheart, and she's determined to protect her image, which is, did I not just say that? She'll do anything to protect her image. Word on the street is that she had no clue that Blake was calling her and Ryan her dragons until she saw it in the headlines. Just like the rest of us, the scandal feels like it's here to stay unless they can strike a deal. And Justin, he's not exactly looking to settle anytime soon. Plus, there's the looming Super Bowl, and she doesn't want Travis to be distracted by this chaos. So she's not happy. For what the future holds for Blake and Taylor's friendship, it really depends on how quickly this noise dies down. And if Blake and Justin can come to some kind of agreement before even more dirty laundry gets aired out publicly. But she does feel like she was being used as an intimidation tactic, and she doesn't like that. Swift feels like she's being used as an intimidation tactic after Baldoni's lawsuit against Lively claimed that she made her presence to him known to comply with Blake's direction for the script. And when he wasn't super happy about his lukewarm response to it. And the court records say that Lively's reference to Swift's part of their dispute was like a threat, making him feel like he had to get on board with her changes or else. And it says the unnecessary involvement of her name in the case was said to be the tipping point for Swift, who had never intended to attend the meeting in the first place, but showed up at Lively's New York penthouse to find it still in progress. They've been friends for over a decade, but apparently what she did there has her completely reevaluating everything. In the world of Hollywood, if your friend is getting bad headlines and you're getting dragged into their fight and you are someone that's a quote unquote America's sweetheart, who, by the way, I just want to be clear, nobody's a sweetheart. So even though people believe that Taylor is a sweetheart, she's just a human. She is not perfect. She definitely has her own issues. The fact that she is associated with Blake for all of these years should be an indictment on her character. She knows who Blake is. She's been fine with who Blake was until now. So as much as I have sympathy for Taylor, if this is true, the straight up here is that if you surround yourself with shitty people, and I'm saying shitty people like Ryan and Blake, it's an indictment on who you are as a person. And Taylor has a reputation of having a squad, being one of the popular girls, being the pick me. Look at how cool I am. Look at how pretty I am. And that's not how an America's sweetheart acts. They don't have a squad. They don't have pick me girls. They're not bitches. They're not snotty, or that's just not how America's sweetheart acts. And America's sweetheart would definitely not have a friend that's like Blake, who's a name dropper and an intimidator and a bully. And there's enough evidence out there in video, in interviews of how Blake acts. She has a reputation that precedes herself. So for Taylor to now act like she's surprised this happens, I don't buy it. This feels like a PR spin for Taylor just as much as Blake's PR spin says, no, 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 we're fine. Taylor is going to do anything she can because she has a $1 billion image she's protecting. Blake has peanuts in money compared to what Taylor has. And Taylor's only going to surround herself with people that will make her look good as long as they make her look good. And if they stop making her look good, she's out. You cannot trust anyone in Hollywood. They're all fickle. They've all hit the big time because they all have something in their character that allows them to walk all over other people to get to the top. And there's lists of casualties behind them. And so for me, on the one hand, I'm like, yay, Taylor, you're getting out. But at the same time, it's like, Taylor, you knew who she was. So don't pretend like you're surprised now. And I have no doubt that Taylor leveraged all of this because she might have wanted her song in the film. Taylor's editor and producer ended up on the film. Taylor benefited from this in a way that I don't believe that she's as innocent as she wants to portray. So her PR says we're innocent, and Blake's is like, no, we're still best friends. And Taylor's PR is like, well, no, we're bad. I don't know if we can be friends anymore. And then Blake's like, we're fine. If you've got competing PRs like that, there's a dispute. So I have no doubt these two will not be friends for much longer. And the worse this gets, the gloves will come off. So what are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed, and click the bell so you never miss a video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye, guys.